Nicole Wallace, Rosie Perez. And today, Michelle Collins and GMA Weekend anchor Paula Farris hit the co-host chair. It all starts now.
Welcome to The View, y'all. Welcome. So I have a question for you guys. You get an email. How long does it take you to respond?
It depends who it's from. If it's any of you guys, I'll type right back. But I feel like it's like old-fashioned mail. Like I feel like I have 2 weeks.
Okay. What about you?
No?
I like to write back immediately because if I don't, I get so many like emails that then I'll forget that it's even there, and then I'll never write back if I don't do it right away.
How about you, baby?
I'm a hot mess. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's a month, sometimes a week, you know, but I try.
Right.
I try.
I'm a hot mess, too, for many reasons, I will say that. But I work in the news business, and if we don't answer within 30 seconds, we get about 10 phone calls. So I have to check my phone all the time. My kids will say, put your phone down, Mommy. But I can't. But it's those modern conveniences of life really inconvenient you because you're expected to answer right away.
Are your kids emailing you to get your attention? They're like, dear Mom, I'm next to you.
Yes.
Look at me.
Yes. My eyes are here, Mother. Put it down.
Yeah.
Well, you know, online research says that most emails get a response in 2 minutes. That is not me. I don't respond in 2 minutes. You're lucky if I even pick the phone up.
Well, no, the phone I will pick up because I feel like the way we are now, like a phone call is something important. I will pick up the phone.
Yeah, because it means something. Somebody's trying to get you.
And they actually want to talk to you because not everyone, you know, and I don't want to talk to everybody anymore, right? Like plenty of people, you just get an email or a text.
Right.
But I don't think email's in the same category as the phone. I mean, I feel like an email's like respond when you get a chance.
I've ended friendships over people not picking up the phone enough. Like, I'm really crazy about phone calls. If you don't call me, like on my birthday, if I don't get a call from a dear, dear friend, I'm like, don't ever call me again. How about that? Like, I'm basically, don't be my friend is what I'm saying to you. But usually it's just like, it's nice to talk to someone. You know?
Right, but so when they're in the hospital, though, you forgive them and take them back as friends. Yeah, I got hit by a car. I'm sorry I couldn't call you.
The doctor can call with me.
Says the woman who even calls when she's in the hospital.
Yes,
So
because for me, I put the cell phone, I don't touch the cell phone after 6.
You know, at my charity, Urban Arts Partnership, one of the head people there, Anna Strout, she hates that I do not respond in a timely manner. And she has a rule. She says when it comes to emails that pertain to business, you must respond in the same day. I don't know about 2 minutes.
No.
You know what I mean? But
you know what? You're adult enough. No, you're adult enough to know whether it's a 2-minute email you have to respond to. People can't dictate when you respond to them. They can say, gee, I'd love it if you did it sooner. But if you're on stage and she says the email, sorry, bitch, you ain't gonna hear from her.
My email actually just went down, and I have to say, it's kind of like losing your phone. It was so liberating to be away from your phone, even for a couple of hours.
You know, people always worry about making long-distance relationships work, but it turns out they work even better than couples who live together. Couples who travel to see each other reportedly have higher levels of sex and commitment and communication and all kind of stuff.
I wonder if it's because they can't catch their partner cheating because they're like so far away. They're like, we are so committed, you guys. But meanwhile, he's like out with a different woman.
My husband and I dated long distance. We're college sweethearts. We dated long distance our entire relationship. We didn't live together. When we finally did get married, just let me say, I know you guys are looking at me like I have 3 eyes, but we didn't have sex before were married. I grew up in a Christian household. I know. I mean, this was a choice that we made. That doesn't mean we didn't fool around a little bit, but that was a choice that we made. But I will say, once we did get married, I couldn't walk by the 3rd day of our honeymoon. Let's just say that.
Real nice.
You should know that we had Sherry Shepherd, when she was on the show, also did not have sex before the marriage. I mean, a lot of people have made that decision. It's a, you know, it's a very personal decision. It's a great decision.
It's personal. Not everybody's going to make it. That's one that we chose
that he's far.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? It's like, first of all, you don't see each other on a regular basis. So like when you do see each other, it's electric. You know what I mean? I want to date him in Indonesia once a year, y'all. But it is off the hook. Okay, like
best date ever.
I dated my now husband long distance for a while, and there is something sort of nice about having time to get your legs waxed and your hair done, and you know, so that when you go away for the weekend or you reunite, what was that? You don't know what I'm, you know?
I've waxed once. It was the biggest mistake. It was a Brazilian.
that's why you have to laser. That's my tip for the day. You got to laser, girls.
I'm sorry, if you get a drunken laser person, who knows what's going on back there? Wait, I have to ask you this now, because Glamour magazine, you know, the one I read all the time, is asking if you should tell a friend flat out when they're making a bad decision about their love life. And the article claims that you should, but would you guys do that if you saw that someone was truly in a really bad situation? Would you point it out?
Yes, 100%. Because
Yes.
if they're my true friend,
Yep.
I need to be a true friend as well. And I will tell them. And yes, my girlfriend, Julie, my BFF, have
She
told
naming you, baby.
Yes, you have told me many a time, and you know I've told you too. So I think it's good for the friendship, though.
Up to what point? Like,
No,
not,
no holds barred.
So
No
even
holds
after
barred.
they're married,
Julie is my best friend in the world, and we just are very truthful with one another because we know that we have each other's back.
Yeah.
And I do not want her to go down a road that I know is going to hurt, and vice versa. And our friendship has lasted way over 25 years.
Yeah.
What if she goes back to the guy?
Well, she
Then
has.
that's really tough.
But,
You risk creating a wedge
She did that to a boyfriend.
your
She went
friend.
back to a boyfriend and everything. And at that point, she's a grown woman. There's
Yes.
nothing else I could do. But
Yeah.
I will give her that
Yeah.
advice.
I disagree. I have to say, I have friends who are married, getting married to guys. Now, what level are we talking about? If they were like alcoholics, that's different, you know what I mean? But guys who are not good guys, who I think down the line are going to cause problems, cheat, whatever. But how can you go to a friend and say, listen, I think 5 years from now, you're going to have a lot of problems? I don't feel comfortable doing that unless I have hard evidence of, let's say, cheating or anything else. Instinct for me is not enough to say to someone, this isn't a good idea.
I'm not talking about cheating. I'm talking about a guy who's just a bad guy. And you see it from the get-go. Who's
Someone who you see is using your friend and
Or treating
treating
them
them
poorly.
in a way that you know, if you treated your friend like that, you wouldn't be friends. Why are you taking it from somebody else? That's the
But don't
thing.
you think it'll end friendships?
from men.
Yes, they
What
do.
what do you do then if the friend doesn't? Because I've grappled with this. I'm not really a profile in courage. I
Yeah.
have to be honest. But what do you do if the friend doesn't listen and it?
You know what generally tends to happen is if the friend is shutting you down, they're not going to want to talk to you. And you have to deal with
Maybe
that.
they know and they don't want to hear it.
Well, that's a huge
sort
part
of-
of it.
I
But
think-
if you're going to include me in your group, really, I should say, don't. I'd rather not be there. Then they said, well, what's the matter? And then I said, Ferdinand. I'm not crazy about Ferdinand.
If you fast forward a couple of years, fast forward the relationship, and think about what they will tell you if you hadn't confronted them. And will they say, well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you
Yes,
warn me?
everybody does that.
So-
Everybody says, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, and-
So I did tell you, fool.
You know, and Julie has told me.
Yeah.
She has told
She's
me
told
many
you.
a times, girl,
Did you
get
listen?
out now.
Did you listen?
Most of the times, I've listened to
A
her.
couple of times, not so much?
A couple of times, no.
I know. We
no,
all
I
been
just-
there.
And
We-
then 5 years later, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell was I
You know.
thinking? And she goes, I told you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
You
too
know?
good, girl. Sometimes it is too
You know what?
good.
No. Wait. There is nothing that good that is information you can only hear here. And today's subject is reproduction. Did you know that the female kangaroo has not one, not two, but 3 vaginal entrances?
The faces of the audience.
This poor woman right here.
Someone stormed out. She stormed
And we
out.
think it's because, I don't know if you've seen this, but when a baby kangaroo begins its journey to the pouch, it's only this big. The parents cannot help it get from here to the pouch.
Well, they're not fully
so they
developed.
Yes,
so they go down
they
into
look
the
like
pouch
little worms.
so that they can finish developing.
But they have to crawl up
Yeah.
to get in there. And because there are so many, the idea that so many could be lost, nature, in her beauty, has created 3 ways for them to get pregnant, so that there will always be something, hopefully, some baby kangaroo, some little thing.
There's a really smart guy in my ear explaining to me, he wants all of you to know that only 2 of the vaginas are for getting pregnant.
What's the 3rd one
It's
for?
for sending the
Pocket
Joey
change.
down into the outside world. It's for delivery.
Yes. It's a wonderful, it's kind of an amazing thing, and you only get that information here. So how about this? From, you know, crazy to crazy. An op-ed on CNN claims that recent photo ops of Vice President Biden, as well as John Travolta at the Oscars, are part of a growing trend of people not respecting personal space. I know you think people get too close.
Well, I'm a maniac. I'm a full-in psychopath. If I'm in a store and someone will come up to the rack, let's say if I'm looking at pants or shirts, if someone stands next to me to like touch the pants that I'm just pushing over, I have actually gotten into fights. Don't mess with me. I have gotten into fights, seriously. With, in particular, one woman, she was on her phone, she comes stand, and I'm a tall girl, so like to invade my space, you have to really be the most obnoxious person basically around. Comes right next to me and is looking at, I'm like, girl, we are not the same size. Why are you even on me right now? And I went nuts. I was like, my cool. I have to be honest, I lost my cool. I did call her an animal. The point is,
Was that the exact word you used?
I really did.
Oh, okay. An animal.
Because it's like, give me space. Don't be on top of me.
That's a little bit more about, not only about your personal space, but also about you're very territorial.
Complete, especially at an outlet. Like, don't get near me. I'm being serious. No, I'm being
the
serious.
same thing.
Like,
That is so funny. I know I've never seen someone so obsessed with their personal space. Beside Larry David, you know, I'm doing Fish in the Dark on Broadway with him, and we have scenes together where we have to stand next to each other, and he's always upstaging me.
Show people
What
what
does
you
that
mean by
mean?
that, because folks don't know.
Downstage is where the audience sits.
Okay, look.
Upstage is the back of the theater.
Downstage.
That's downstage.
So he goes that way?
If I stand like this to him, if I stand, okay, if I go like this to Larry, he takes 2 steps back. He takes 2 steps back, and so then I have to go like this, and the whole scene, this is all we're doing. And I'm trying to act with the man. It's ridiculous.
You know, it sounds like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I mean, it sounds like the neurotic.
Seriously.
You know.
And he doesn't like to shake hands. You know, when people say hello to him, say hello to me. He goes,
Can I say something about that? And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I saw the play. It's incredible, by the way. And you were so kind, and I met Larry. He has the dream of mine, as you know. He has the softest hands of anyone I have ever touched in my life. He should be shaking everyone's hand. It's a real gift.
Do you remember what you called him?
I said that it was like meeting Jesus himself, which I meant because he looks. I have one religion. It's called Seinfeld. Seinfeld and Les Miserables. Those are my 2 religions. You know what I mean? It's true. That's my thing. It was such a great thing to meet him.
And his response, you remember? He goes, "That's all right. Jesus was a Jew."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It
was the highlight of my life.
It's true. He didn't lie. Hey, how about this? And maybe this is why this happens. Many parents have heard their teens say, "I hate you, Mom or Dad." But scientists say it's not their fault, actually. Their brains are still developing at the same time. The brand new hormones are showing up, and the mix can lead to a slew of new emotions.
I was so surprised that people did not know this. How many people did not know this?
There's some honest people
Okay,
here.
there's some honest people. You know, when you turn, you know, some people have puberty early, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's occurring, and they're so mixed up with all these hormones, and their brains are still developing. They're just a hot mess, and they're just trying to figure life out, and you know, and so they're just take it out on their parents.
Here's my problem, though, RP.
Do people did people say they didn't know this? Because clearly y'all forgot you were kids. You were kids once. You know, this is no different. The same crap you pull is the same crap kids are gonna pull from now until the earth is over. It's what kids do. This is what they're supposed to do. This is part of growing up.
When they say they hate you, it actually means they love you.
No, sometimes it means they hate you.
But
Sometimes, yeah. As far as they know.
What I'm learning, though, is like there's always an age-appropriate excuse, right? So, like, my son was 2. Oh, he's just having the terrible 2s. And I was 3. They're like, oh, he's just finding his way. Now I have this to look forward to. I hate you.
He's going to be 30, and she's going to say, he's just 30. She's a hoverer. We'll be right back. I'm going to hover next to her. People on diets fail and obesity is at epidemic levels in the U.S. Weight is always a hot topic, of course, here in America. But our friend Dr. Stephen Lamb says he will get you healthy for life in his new book, Fighting Fat. Please welcome Director of the Tisch Center for Men's Health and a great doctor, Dr. Stephen Lamb. That we've all heard that the statistics about obesity in this country, 2/3 of us are overweight and 70% of our kids are now obese. What the hell is happening?
The reason we are overweight is we have genetics, which is some of us are predisposed to being overweight. Just look at your parents, all right? And now you meet in the environment. We have plenty of food that is calorie dense but not nutrient dense. We've increased the stress and chaos in our lives, which change hormones in our brain. And we don't sleep enough. We don't get enough physical activity. And we're taking a lot of medications that actually promote weight gain. Believe it or not, insulin for diabetic makes them heavier. Every antidepressant, or almost every, promotes weight gain. So this is a perfect storm. Environment, genetics, obesity.
90% of diets fail, and I have to say the only thing, you know, when I got pregnant, I gained 50 pounds with each pregnancy, and there's a lot of pressure working in TV to get thin again, but the only thing that really worked for me was to use a smaller plate, because I like to eat bacon, I like butter, I like heavy cream, I like real food, but to just minimize those portions, and I had to throw away my scale. I don't know how much I weigh, because I felt it was psychologically damaging for the scale to tell me how I should feel about myself instead of being in tune with my body.
What's really damaging is the fact that we have been blaming people who are overweight as though this was a character flaw. Do we actually think that some of the most famous TV personalities, governors, have character flaws, that they're lazy and stupid? Absolutely not. This is biology. This is biology.
I thought, oh, I'm losing weight. I feel good. I think I feel good. But then you look at the number and it tells you something else. And that's, you know, we glamorize and glorify women that lose weight right after they have a baby. And it's just not real.
It takes time. But I think the other focus we have to move from weight to health.
Right.
And we're now starting to be health-centric rather than weight-centric, which means how many pounds do you necessarily need to lose for your diabetes to become now insignificant, or your blood pressure, your cholesterol. Think in terms of health. Don't think in terms of weight.
I read the book last night. I was desperately flipping through it first for a quick diet plan. I have to admit, I love a gimmick. I never do it, but I like to read it. There are no gimmicks in there, but what can people do? And let me just say, like, as a mom, I hate getting the advice to sleep more. Like, I would sleep more if I could.
As someone who sleeps 12 hours a day.
No, you can't sleep 12 hours.
No, I'm joking, but like 8 hours, and I'm still not thin. So what are we talking about?
They've actually mapped weight gain with the decrease in sleep over the last 50 years. So there is a link. So the first thing is start thinking in terms of a diet, not dieting. Diet means the nutrient value. If you eat healthier foods, your brain is going to get the right signal. So that's the first thing. Don't be a late eater. Don't try to eat too late, because it's been shown. I'm sorry?
What's late? What do you
I mean, if you're eating lunch at 2 o'clock and then you're eating dinner at 10 o'clock, that's a problem.
It's like the grandparents, like, don't feed them after
You're not in Spain. I like to eat that way. I like to eat that way, but I'm not genetically at risk of being overweight. Okay. The other thing is,
suggest a time for closing the kitchen?
I think the earlier the better. I personally do think that you can reduce the carbs. I do think that potatoes, bread, rice, noodles is a problem for people who have weight issues.
So we brought these in case you got hungry out here.
Right,
You don't want
well,
these.
here's what's amazing. Here's how the brain...
Wait a minute, you guys, wait. Listen
Let me
to
show
this.
you. The brain controls your metabolism and your hunger by signals called ghrelin and leptin. 1 potato chip extra per day is a pound a year, is 10 pounds.
Wow.
It's 10 pounds every 10 years.
What about
You can't
being a
control
single
that.
woman and buying all her food at Costco? Is that normal?
Well, no, I mean,
like
it's
big
just...
portions. I'm
Right.
asking.
Well, we're used to calorie dense, not deep. So the bottom line is if you have a weight problem, please go to your doctor.
I feel like this would be the first thing
Go
you
to your
would tell us.
doctor.
Go to your
Go
doctor.
on.
Let your doctor determine do you have diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and then design a specific program. Maybe take away some of the medicines that you've been taking for depression and diabetes and switch them to medications that will promote weight loss.
Dr. Lamb is actually my doctor, and I go to him for this very thing. So when he tells you that there are things you can do, he's not bullying you.
And the book's great. I read it last night.
I did
Say
too.
we love
It's a
Dr. Lamb.
wonderful, wonderful read and an
Yes.
important one.
We say thank you as always. Please consult your personal physician for advice suitable for your circumstances. And members of our audience, y'all are lucky because you're going home with the book. Fighting Fat. We'll be right back with Jim Caviezel. Hey, now, you know, things are getting a little intense over there on Person of Interest. It's one of my favorite shows. And Jim Caviezel may reach his breaking point when he has to start protecting the bad guys. Freaky, take a look.
You're calmer than normal, John. Given the circumstances.
I took a trip to the mountains. I saw an old friend. Just reminded me what I've been missing.
What is that?
Life.
Yeah, here you are, stuck in that dark basement with me.
Baby, please welcome back the fabulous Jim Caviezel. First of all, this is the 4th season of Person of Interest. I mean, there are only 2 episodes left. Is it getting, what's coming? I'm nervous. What's happening, Jim? What's happening with you and Enrico? What's going on?
Big war. Samaritan versus the Machine. Coming down, lots of action.
Really?
Yeah. Jonah Nolan did just a brilliant Orson Welles-like guy. I mean, I put him up there with some of the best people I've ever worked with.
Wow.
And he, I don't know if you've ever seen his Batman movies,
Yes,
or Inception,
yes.
or Interstellar.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, are you surprised that it's lasted? And are you still having fun?
Well, I love what I do.
Yes.
Come on, are you having fun?
Yeah. Look.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's seen every day. The TV obviously is something I've never done before, but
Right.
we do 80 setups every day. The average show that does a lot would be
Right.
50.
Wow.
So Jonah's always promised to make this cinematic
Right.
level, and that was
Delivers.
it really does.
So Taraji P. Henson was back this
Yes.
week in the flashback. Right. We all love her here. What was it like having her back? I know you guys as a cast are close,
Well,
right?
we were lucky to get her back. What does her show have, like 25 million viewers now?
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I miss her.
Yeah.
She was a very special part of the family, and but she's got her thing going now, and
Yeah.
it's terrific.
No.
Actress.
You've probably been asked your share of questions, but there was one particular question that caused you to jump over the table at Comic-Con. I believe you were there with the cast and crew, the Person of Interest. Why did you jump over the table?
Well, this little girl asked me a funny question or something, and
It's adorable.
I said, "You remind me of my daughter, and you're beautiful." And she come run over to me, and
Oh my God. I love that.
she was crying.
I love that. And, you know, you didn't grow up wanting to do this at all, right? You grew up wanting to be a basketball player. It's in your family, right?
I had a father that played for John Wooden at UCLA, and was a great mentor to me, my dad and Coach Wooden, and that was really my foundation of acting. You know, you come to Hollywood. After about 6 months, I wanted to quit, but during the 15 years of playing basketball, it's like that's the first thing you want to do is you want to quit. And so any of you parents that have young kids out there, quitting is the easiest thing to do, but it will last the longest, and you'll never forget it. Just hang in there and keep with it.
Forgive me if I'm having a super fan moment, because I've always been a really big fan of yours, but I hear that you also had a super fan moment with the late Jimmy Stewart, and you will be accepting an award on behalf of his foundation. So what exactly happened?
Well, again, my dad had when I was younger, he was like, well, watch this guy, Stewart, and we watched all, his movies and stuff. And I got this, as a young actor, I was a waiter, and I happened to be working the President of the United States party at Jerry Weintraub's house. And the Secret Service took us aside, and the head waiter said, look, if you talk to so much as talk to any of these people, we'll fire you on the spot. And I was, Warren Beatty here, and said, you'd like some champagne, and all of a sudden, there goes Jimmy Stewart. I thought, well, I could probably get fired for talking to him. So I went over, and I said, did you like something to drink, sir? And she said, oh, I'd like a Scotch soda, and walked over and got him his drink, and then all of a sudden, the conversation started, and he talked to me like I was just a regular Joe Blow off the street. The head waiter looked over and went, like this, you're gone, you're gone. And I said, oh, wow. And then I turned away, and he goes, young man, you whatever you do, you make good movies. So after that, I saw him at a couple other events and whatnot, and then he had me in his home, and I got to tell him I loved him. Then
yeah, the 30-year-old fan. Well, thank you for being here, very funny lady. And our thanks to Sarah Colonna. Members of our studio audience are going home with a copy of Sarah's new book. And for Sarah's tour dates, check out our website. We will be right back.
Thanks to Paula Faris and the fabulous Michelle Collins for guest co-hosting. We want to thank you guys because you make it fun to do. So we love you and thank you. And we want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen to see. Ciao, y'all.